Do you like my shirt? I got this shit at Ross, and it's like literally the coolest shirt I've ever seen in my entire life at Ross. But hey y'all, today I wanted to dive back into Nightmare Soup, but I'm gonna do this video a little bit differently. Instead of pausing between each story and commenting on the story, I'm just gonna read them all the way through. And so obviously I will stop and I will say the name of the new story and it'll be like the same thing in that sense. But I'm gonna save all of my commentary for the end, so it's just gonna be kind of like a scary storytelling video, but just a bunch of mini stories. We'll see if we like this more. If we don't, then I won't do it again. But I feel like this might be better because sometimes I don't really have anything to say about the story, and so I feel like if we just go throughout all of them, I will have more to say at the end. And I don't have ugly nails today, I have cute nails today, so we're not gonna do our whole nubby knuckles, but this story is called Mr. Wilson. And I'll still show you the pictures for all the stories, so don't you worry. He still hasn't moved. Jake peered over the wooden fence, looking at the brand new baseball they had just knocked into Mr. Wilson's yard. Tim climbed up right next to him. Are you sure? It's been like 3 hours. I'm telling you, he hasn't even flinched. He just sits there, staring at us. Old Man Wilson sat on his front porch, glaring at the two boys. He wore dark glasses, a green, beat-up trucker hat, and tattered, worn overalls. Another hour passed, and Jake was growing impatient. I'm just gonna go over there and ask for the ball. Tim rolled his eyes. Come on, Jake, you know you can't do that. Old Man Wilson has never let anyone in his yard. You remember Matt? He went over there and never came back. Danny said he was skinned alive. That's ridiculous. Matt moved to Mooresville. Danny doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay then, go ahead, go over there, Tim dared. Fine, I will. Jake started walking across the street, his eyes fixated on Old Man Wilson sitting in his chair. His skin was leathery, almost like wax, and his face was constantly crumpled into an angry scowl. Jake suddenly turned around and walked back. Let's just wait until dark. Tim chuckled. Yeah, that's what I thought. A few more hours tickled away and night set in. The moon hung in the sky like a spotlight. The two boys were still watching from across the street. Tim squinted his eyes. What if he's asleep? Jake took a sip of soda. What if he's dead? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Jake pointed to the empty lot right next to Old Man Wilson's property. He can't watch both of us. You walk over to the empty lot and I'll head to the very end of the fence. You start making lots of noise, and that's when I'll jump over and grab the ball. Got it? Tim stood up. I got it. Okay, let's do this. Jake snuck across the street to the edge of the fence. He crouched down, waiting to hear Tim yelling and making a ruckus. Hey, Old Man Wilson, look over here, Tim screamed at the top of his lungs. Jake's heart started racing. He pulled himself over the fence and dropped into Old Man Wilson's backyard. He sprinted towards the baseball lying alone in the grass. Just as his hand touched it, a loud, raspy voice ripped through the air. Hey, get out of my yard. Jake slowly turned his head, expecting to see Old Man Wilson standing over him, but it was an old woman. Mrs. Wilson? The old woman took a few hobbled steps forward, aided by a large wooded cane. She was standing on the porch next to Old Man Wilson, who still hasn't moved. You've got some nerve hopping that fence, boy. Jake didn't know how to respond. I just wanted to get my baseball back. Well, grab it and get off my lawn. Jake picked the ball up and walked towards the front gate. He took a close look at Old Man Wilson as he passed the porch. Is Mr. Wilson okay? He hasn't moved the entire day. The old woman took her cane and poked Old Man Wilson in the side. Who, him? He's been dead for months. I just stuffed him and put him here on the porch. Thought it would keep you kids off my property. This next story is called The Farm. Thunder crackled and a bolt of lightning struck somewhere off in the distance. Earl's granddaughter, Jessie, peered through the window at the hogs trudging around in the mud. Grandpa, did you know pigs are smarter than dogs? Earl put on his boots. Do they look smarter than dogs? The hogs were just standing there like statues, not doing much of anything. Not really, but Mr. Anderson said pigs were just as intelligent as small children. They even tested them. That's why they make really good pets. Earl chuckled. You know what else they're good for? Bacon. He opened the door and stepped out into the cold rain. The hogs were about a week from slaughter, and he still needed to fatten them up a bit. He lifted the slop buckets one by one and poured them into the trough, but none of the hogs came running as they normally do. They were simply walking around and sniffing the air as if they suspected something. Come and eat, you dumb pigs. You've got a date with the butcher next week. The hogs still didn't come forward. He went to grab another bucket of slop, but as he reached down, a sharp pain shot through his left shoulder and into his chest. He dropped to his knees. Earl clutched onto the fence post and slowly pulled himself up, his body trembling. He was having a heart attack. "Jesse, anybody, help!" But the storm drowned out any sound he made. He soon collapsed onto the fence and fell into the pig pen, unconscious. After 30 minutes, Jessie started to wonder where her grandpa was. She put on her jacket and ran outside. "Grandpa, are you out here?" The hogs were in a violent frenzy, squealing and screeching in the rain. "Grandpa?" Jessie looked down at one of the pigs and screamed. It was clutching a bloody, severed hand in its mouth. All that was left of Grandpa Earl was a set of white dentures lying in the mud. And then this next story says The Lonely Troll. Once upon a time, there was a troll who lived under a bridge, which shouldn't be surprising, as all trolls live under some type of bridge. All day and all night, the troll would wait for people to come his way, and then like clockwork, he would pop out and devour them. He didn't even ask a riddle like most trolls do, he just skipped right to the eating part. Week after week, year after year, it went on like this. And while the troll loved the taste of human flesh, he couldn't fight the fact that he was lonely and depressed. Then one day, the troll saw a little boy walking towards the bridge. He rolled his eyes and started climbing up. He wasn't even hungry. The troll jumped in front of the little boy and unleashed a thunderous roar, but the boy didn't even flinch. "Wait, you're not scared of me?" The boy shrugged. "Not really, you're just a troll." The troll looked around. Was this some type of joke? Or worse, a trap by the villagers? "You know I eat humans, right?" "Don't you get tired of eating the same thing every day?" the boy asked. The troll paused. "Come to think of it, you're right. I never try anything new." The boy opened his leather satchel and pulled out a freshly baked blueberry muffin. He handed it over and the troll popped it into his mouth. "This is the most delicious thing I've ever tasted. It's even better than that fat man who accidentally fell in a tub of butter." The boy handed the troll another muffin. "I can bring you more if you would like." "Yes, please do." Every day after that, the boy would bring the troll fresh muffins. They would sit and talk and play games. They became great friends. Then one day the boy arrived and the troll greeted him at the end of the bridge. "Any muffins today?" The boy shook his head. "Unfortunately, no. The baker is sick, but I'll bring you some extra muffins tomorrow." The troll was incredibly disappointed as his stomach was rumbling with hunger. So he ate the boy. After all, he's a troll. What did you expect him to do? And then there's actually another picture. We got 2 pictures for this bad boy. This one is called The Tooth Fairy. Jenna was watching TV when her 7-year-old son rushed to her side. "Look, Mom." One of Brady's front teeth was lying in his palm. Jenna smiled. "Looks like the Tooth Fairy's coming to visit tonight." Brady's eyes lit up. He immediately rushed upstairs and placed the tooth under his pillow. Jenna soon followed, ready to tuck him into bed. "Mom, what does the Tooth Fairy do with all the teeth that she collects?" "You know, that's a good question. I'm not sure. Maybe she builds houses with them or something." "Ew, that's kind of gross." Jenna laughed. "Yeah, I guess that would be gross, wouldn't it? Okay, you better get to sleep if you want her to show up. That's a big tooth. You might get something special." The next morning, Brady ran into Jenna's room. "Mom, wake up." He shook her arm until her eyes opened. "Look what the Tooth Fairy gave me." Brady was holding a large gold coin. Jenna quickly sat up. She certainly didn't put that under his pillow. "Where did you get that?" Brady smiled. "I told you, the Tooth Fairy gave it to me. She said I have special teeth and she wants more of them." "She talked to you?" "Yeah, I told her to come back tonight." Jenna snatched the coin from Brady's hand. "Brady, seriously, where did you get this?" "I just told you, the Tooth Fairy." "You know it's not right to make up lies." Brady took the coin back. "I'm not lying. I'll show you tonight when she brings me another coin." Later that evening, when Brady was asleep, Jenna thought she heard something coming from his room. She muted the TV and could clearly hear a strange buzzing, like that of a hornet or wasp, only much louder. Jenna walked up the stairs. The sound intensified with each step she took, but by the time she reached Brady's room, it had stopped. She opened the door. Brady was sleeping peacefully. Jenna laughed to herself. Tooth Fairy, yeah, right. The next morning, Jenna was shaken awake by her son. "Mom, look at this." Brady was holding a small leather bag filled to the brim with coins. I'm rich." But as Jenna sat up, her lips started to quiver. The metallic taste of blood was immediate and jolting. Her trembling hand reached up to her mouth. All of her teeth had been ripped out. Brady poured the coins onto the bed. The tooth fairy changed her mind. She said she wanted your teeth instead. And then this one is called tongue. Hey, you want to see something gross? Logan pushed his science book over to Drew and pointed to the picture. It depicted a tuna fish with a disgusting yellowish creature clamped to its tongue, like a mix between a cockroach and a crab. Drew cringed. What is that? It's a tongue-eating louse. It's a parasite that crawls into the mouth of a fish, devours the tongue, then stays there, acting like a new tongue. Drew shut the book. That's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. Logan opened the book again. I think it's cool. Yeah, well, ever since Mr. Anderson told us about the botfly, you've been obsessed with stuff like that. Logan laughed. I just think it's interesting how disgusting nature can be. The bell rang and the two boys walked into the hallway. Speaking of fish, Logan began, you want to sneak back to Mr. Riley's pond tonight and toss out a few lines? I heard there's some monster catfish in there. Drew didn't have anything better going on, so he agreed. Later that night, the boys were sitting by the edge of the water, both holding fishing poles. Logan sat back and yawned when suddenly a June bug flew into his mouth. Ah, yuck! He spit and coughed. I hate those things, always flying in everyone's face and getting in everyone's business. Logan walked to the bank. Drew started reeling in his line. You're not gonna wash your mouth out with pond water, are you? That's gross. I don't care. I think I have a bug stuck in my teeth. Logan knelt down and started cupping water into his mouth and spitting it out. Drew cast his line out again and looked up to the moon. You ever hear that rumor about the two kids drowning in this pond a while back? I wonder if that's true. Logan started violently coughing and gagging. Hey, are you okay? No answer. Logan, are you all right, man? Logan started crawling back towards Drew. My tongue. What? I can't tell what you're saying. My tongue. Logan crawled into the moonlight next to Drew and opened his blood-filled mouth. A crab-like creature was inside. It hissed and screeched and then continued to eat what was left of Logan's tongue. And then there's an author's note that says, I don't know how to fucking say that shit. I'm dumb as fuck. But it's, right there. It's the official name of the tongue-eating louse, and it is very real. If you want to sleep tonight, I don't suggest looking it up on the internet. And then here is the other picture. We're actually so close to being done with this book. Like, that's fucking crazy. I didn't realize how much we had read. But this one is called Frozen. Beth looked up in the rearview mirror. You know, if you keep making faces like that, it'll get stuck that way. Austin continued to contort his mouth and eyes as the other drivers passed by. Mom, I know that's not true. Well, you're gonna scare somebody and cause a wreck. Austin finally sat back in the seat. But a few minutes later, an old woman was driving next to them, and Austin couldn't help himself. He smushed his nose against the window, opened his eyes as wide as possible, and pulled his lips back so his teeth looked extra big. The old lady looked over. The sight of his face caused her to swerve right into the car. The impact tossed him back into his seat. Austin's mom tried her best to keep the car straight, but it glided into the next lane. Austin peered out the window just in time to see a pickup truck careening towards them. The last thing he remembered was the sound of twisting metal, shattered glass, and screeching tires. Austin woke up to nothing but black. He had bandages on his eyes, and he could hear nurses and doctors working in the background. Austin, can you hear me? Mom? You're in the hospital, honey. You've been out for a couple days. Austin tried removing the bandages from his eyes, but his mom stopped him. You need to keep those on. The doctor will remove them. Are you okay, Mom? Yes, I'm fine. Just fractured my hand. The doctor walked in and put a hand on Austin's shoulder. Hey, Austin, I'm Dr. Carter. You had quite the accident. Dr. Carter pulled a stool next to Austin's bed and sat down. We had to put you in a coma for a few days and let the swelling go down in your brain, but it looks like you're doing just fine now. The doctor started removing the bandages from Austin's head. I have to prepare you, son. You arrived in pretty bad shape. There's going to be some changes that you're probably not going to like. Austin shifted nervously in the bed. Changes? What do you mean? The doctor slowly unraveled the bandages from Austin's eyes. We're going to do everything we can to make you look normal again. As the bandages fell to the floor, he looked at Dr. Carter and then to the mirror next to the bed. His nose was smashed to the side, his eyes bulged from his head, and his lips were peeled back, causing a permanent, ghastly smile. It was the exact same expression he was making before the wreck, and now his face was frozen that way. Oh wait, that was the end. Okay, that was all the stories in the book, so I guess we're done. We officially finished Nightmare Soup, but I have Nightmare Soup 2 if you guys want me to read from that one as well. I actually really liked all of the stories that we read this time. The Mr. Wilson one honestly freaked me out and I really wanted to say something, but I was like, I can't take back what I said after the first story and like make a comment on this shit. The fact that this woman has a stuffed dead man, her husband is stuffed and dead on her porch. How is that legal? I know it's just a story, but like still, like that shit is so fucking creepy. And then the farm, honestly, I'm not surprised. I had a feeling the pigs were going to like attack or do something so that they wouldn't be slaughtered. And especially when she prefaced it by saying that they're a lot smarter than dogs, like they're as smart as children, which I've actually heard. And I've wanted a pet pig for a very long time. I'm gonna be rambling. This was a bad idea because now I'm just gonna ramble about every story and it's gonna be like 5 minutes of rambling, but do you mind? I've wanted a pet pig for so fucking long, but I don't even think I could get one anymore because I have 3 cats and I don't think they would like it. But they're just so cute and so precious. And I would get him a mud bath and everything so he would be happy. I just want a pig. Can I get a pig? Should I get a pig? I'm not gonna get a pig. The Lonely Troll was good. It was a good story, but I don't really have much to say on it. The Tooth Fairy was terrifying, and I was honestly scared of the Tooth Fairy as a child, but I knew it was my parents at the same time. But like, you know when there's like a part of you that's like, well, what if they are real and they're like this evil demon person who's going to steal my teeth? That was me. I'm like, I know it's my mom and dad. Sorry if you didn't know that. Did I just spoil the Tooth Fairy for some youngins? If you're young and if you still believe in the Tooth Fairy, you should not be on my channel. That's all I'm gonna say. But that one was terrifying. The tongue one grosses me the fuck out, especially knowing that that shit's real. And like this picture is nasty. And then Frozen is honestly really scary too. I make ugly faces all the time and I can't imagine like just being stuck that way for the rest of my life. Like that's honestly terrifying. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I kind of look like I don't really know what I look like today, but my hair, I was not having a good hair day. My hair is very, very, very dirty. So I just threw it back and I just look like this. But that is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, sorry to say that. I feel like I say I hope you enjoyed like 75 times. But I do hope that y'all enjoyed. I'm gonna go. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.